Hello, everyone. I hope you're super well. I am, what's it say, Thursday afternoon. I thought I'd just come live, give you guys some updates. Of how our how businesses are running right now and how practice growth is happening, etc. So if you're with me, I'm just looking if we have some guests. If you don't mind doing me a favor, just comment. If you're with me and where you're joining me from. So some of you are joining me from my business Facebook page, some of you joining me from my personal Facebook page, and then we have another group called Lockdown to Relaunch, which is helping business owners relaunch their practice right now. So just comment in the comment section. Just let me know if you're joining me, where you're joining me from, and I'll give you some strategies today, things that are working for us right now. Pretty cool stuff, very cool stuff, in fact. I don't want to give too much away just yet. I want a few more people to join us, but it's been freaking awesome. It's been awesome. It feels so good, during like proper lockdown. It was so interesting, our business. We've done many relaunches in effect of we've done many refurbishments on many of our bricks and mortar businesses and our practices, and we have been periods where we have done six-figure refurbishments and never closed for a day. So it's been weird in the last 10 years. Like, we've been operational every single day, never missed a beat, hardly missed an hour in 10 years. So when we were closed for a few weeks, it was a weird feeling, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate with. So just comment in the comment section where you're joining me from. And yeah, awesome. Good to see you. And hopefully I'll answer some of your questions today and give you some updates on some of the strategies that are working for us. So I'm going live here on my own feed so I can see a lot of your comments. But anyway, listen, let me know where you're joining me from. How's it going? How your practices and how your business going right now? I can give you some updates from our side. And it's been interesting, being here in the United Kingdom, we're or anyone in Europe, we're a little bit ahead of the curve in that a lot of our practices and businesses are coming out of lockdown, or at least the semblance of coming out of lockdown. So here's what I'm learning. The strategies that we put in place prior to lockdown are working. And, it was almost like this weird faith thing, because the delay in getting feedback from the strategies was probably the longest I've ever had to endure, meaning that 6 weeks ago, we're putting in strategies that are now coming to fruition. So I'm just going to give you a few headlines of what's working right now, how it's happening, and what you can and what I think you can do, where you can pivot to create at least forward momentum. Okay, so let me go through what I truly believe the biggest killer in this whole lockdown is. The biggest killer in this whole lockdown is not necessarily loss in obviously loss in income is devastating for hundreds of millions of businesses across the planet. Remember, let me just give you some statistics. 40% of all furloughed team members or staff, or any way, shape, or form that resembles that, are not going to have a job coming out of this. They say 40% of small businesses are not going to be able to relaunch at the end of this. I know everyone's sick and tired of hearing this, but it's unprecedented times. I've certainly never seen anything like it, and it's essentially shutting down economies across the planet. So it's been an insane learning experience. But and we've certainly made many mistakes, and we've grown, and etc. But here's what I can tell you is right now in my business, we are booking 400 to 600 appointments a day. That might be for the future. It's happening in the future, and it's spread out. It's not all in 1 week, but it is 100% moving in the right direction. We have some of my students having record weeks, 2nd or 3 weeks back from a lockdown. That's insane. But it's all the strategies they put in place during lockdown. It's all the strategies that they're coming to fruition. And some of it, again, is delayed gratification on the thing that they've been doing diligently for years. I'm telling you about one of my students. One strategy he's been implementing diligently, Mr. Consistency. Here's something you've got to do every single day. A little tip for you, something you've got to do every single day to your database. He's been doing religiously for 6 months, right? probably longer, but really religiously for the last 6 months. And all that's happened is now. It's like all the business strategies that you thought were boring, that maybe you've been neglecting, it's now that you're able to see the effect of that on the back end of this. And we're not even seeing the full effect on that right now. So I'll give you some strategies. This morning, at the beginning of the week, we started to implement a reactivation strategy, or a strategy to really get more momentum back into the business. So we started with text and email strategies, learned a lot of lessons. We've done lots of that. But what's different about this is that often, if you don't know about these strategies, whenever you do some type of marketing to your database, often the mistake people make is they send out, if you will, broadcast emails, texts, whatever it is, to the entire database. That is absolutely the wrong way to do it. So whenever you're doing that, you want to do something called list segmentation. But here's my lesson. My lesson is this, is no matter specifically for bricks and mortar businesses, the challenge you have is the data coming in is dirty. The data coming into is dirty. So what that means is that what you want it to do and what it does are two different things. Certain messages go to people you didn't want them to go get messages from. So that takes a lot of time working that out, but boy, are the rewards there, and boy, is it worth doing that. So I'm going to be teaching that on my live 3-part series. I'm going to be teaching exactly how you should be doing that, how you can be doing that, and how like when I say, when you implement this strategy, I promise you the only thing you're going to do is message me and go, this is your exact words, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So let me give you some results. This morning, wave 2 of our reactivation strategies that we've been putting in place, that started 7 weeks ago, but the back end of it is now being launched. And wave 2 this morning, within 60 minutes, over 500 people responded to the marketing we put out this morning. 500 people. Boy, does it feel good. It feels amazing. Are we back at the levels that we were prior to this? We haven't fully opened yet officially, and we just starting to get a lot of these are booked in the future, but it feels amazing to be doing these strategies. And you absolutely need to be doing these strategies right now. If you're not speaking to your list, here's what you need to understand, is that the single most important asset you have right now is your database. Go no further. New customer acquisition, we're going to enter in a phase. It's going to be the hardest and the most expensive it's almost ever been to acquire new customers. But you have to remember the following. Let me tell you a following story. There was a dentist, a traveling dentist in America. And all he did was travel from town to town, city to city, and he'd phone all the local dentists. And all he would say is, listen, all those old files you don't want anymore, let me just do you a favor, take them off your hands. All the ones you're never going to deal with again. So still back in the day with paper files. And all he did was travel the planet, or travel America, and do that from city to city, state to state. And yes, data protection was different then and all of that. But he made a 7-figure income. That's over $1 million a year, essentially mining other people's, or turning other people's junk into gold. Other people's junk that they've got tired of, lazy, didn't want to be the person that took the paper files and put them into the system. And he created a 7-figure a year business by simply mining his data. So we are in a phase right now. If you've got existing customer base, I don't care what business you're in right now, the single biggest asset you have right now, look no further. In fact, certain of outbound marketing, turn it off, depending on, but you better be watching the cost per lead, etc. You could be doing certain awareness stuff. But I tell you what, working best for us right now is doubling down, going deeper than you've ever gone on your customer base, your existing customer base. If you're not doing that right now, stop everything and do that yesterday. The reason I say that is this: most marketing campaigns or trends often come from US elections, or how the US elections were won. And what's very interesting about how the last US elections are won, our opinions of it are irrelevant, by the way. And most people think it was social media, but it really wasn't. How the last US elections were won was data. President Trump had more data points than anyone in the history of mankind. And he was able to specifically target message according to those data points. So here's my lesson for you is that right now, you absolutely need to be crafting specific message points to specific segments. How many people have spent above X amount that are getting this message? How many people have been doing this, are getting this message? The people that have referred you people are getting this message. The people that are currently under are currently using your service or have appointments booked in the schedule or have used your service in the last 6 months, 1 month, 2 months, need to be getting this. The people that have taken your premium product need to be getting this message. So specific message to market match right now is going to be essential because you're going to be focusing more on your existing client base or your database than you've ever done. So if I leave you with that really, and I just want to come live and give you some of the strategies that's working and killing it for us. I mean, guys, honestly, I'll tell you what, if you own bricks and mortar businesses right now, you will know what I mean when I say that I've never seen anything like it. I truly believe that although I even teach it and I even preach it, if you will, is that you should, you should always run your businesses as if any income or any single income could be taken away from you tomorrow. And I always even talk about that. I teach that, but I truly probably never, ever, ever, ever. I mean, I'm sure economic times and crashes can decrease certain income levels, but never did I ever think that something could absolutely cut it off aggressively and absolutely as this has created. Even though I teach it and even though I know, and even though I'm blessed enough to listen to my own advice with regards to that, I have multiple sources of income, very blessed to have that. Multiple sources of new customer acquisition, very blessed to have that. Right now, we've lost a lot of those different avenues. We have to be doubling down on those strategies. And I can tell you that, as I say, if you've got overhead, and I was once taught this, that you should always be taught where possible by the person with the biggest risk. And I'll tell you why that's important. There's a concept in consulting, and you should read a book called Skin in the Game. Same guy that wrote Black Swan, the book Black Swan. And there's a concept in consulting that skews consultants' advice. And that is that often, while they give you lots of advice, they don't have skin in the game themselves. And by skin in the game, I'm specifically talking about risk. The person with the most risk will normally win. The reason for that is that there aren't any plan Bs. When you and if you look at, even in the book, he goes deep into how some of the biggest economic crises were caused by people having not enough risk or skin in the game. So the advice they will give comes from a very different perspective from someone who has risk or skin in the game. I'm originally South African, and I actually saw Natalie join here, a South African friend of mine. And I'll tell you that, there are, hey, Bierkus, good to see you, my brother, that there are people all over the world right now that have had to reassess their income levels, reassess how they make the income, how they make their money. And when we lost all our income across 8 businesses, 8 practices, right? Bricks and mortar, we were forced to shut. It was implementing good business strategies that I knew were going to come to fruition. However, having said that, you still had to wait weeks to get any feedback from your testing. Because yes, we had people scheduled and booked ahead of time, but we still knew that we had been putting stuff in place that was going to come to fruition. I can tell you the gratification, the satisfaction of getting feedback right now from the marketing strategy we're doing is, I'm not going to say this from a perspective of, because it would be a lie, coming to you now and saying that I absolutely knew that everything was going to go absolutely crazy like it did, because our telephones have been going off the hook since we've implemented it. But boy, it was a good feeling to have some, if you will, gratification and feedback that it's working. So tip for you today, I want to come live with you today. And all I want to say is double down on your existing customer list. Anybody who's ever done business with you, go deep with them now. If you were ever going to phone every single person in your entire customer list, it's now. If you were ever going to reach out to people that spent the most money with you, it's now. If you were ever going to spend time with people that have gone deeper with and supported you, leave nothing in the tank. You cannot afford to leave anything in the tank. I'm saying go deeper than you've ever gone. Reach out more than you've ever reached. Send more emails than you've ever sent. Send more texts than you've ever sent. Reach out to them personally with handwritten notes than you've ever done. Make more personal phone calls and personal gestures than you've ever done, because you cannot afford to leave anything in the tank right now. Our strategies are working. I just want the same for you. If you practice owner and you want to join us, we're doing a 3-part live series. John DeMartini, legend. Les Brown, freaking legend. And Brian Tracy, legend, are joining us for our live 3-part training. And we're doing 3 hours at a time. I'm going deep with you guys. I'm going to give you everything we've got. I'm going to give you the email strategies. I'm going to give you the text strategies. I'm going to give you the scripting. I'm going to give you the telephone strategies. I'm going to give you the new lead generation strategies. Although lead generation is going to be harder than it's ever been, I'm still doing it, and we're doing it, and my members are doing it. So I just want to come live with you today, give you some value. Go deep into your customer list now. Go deep into your database, and that should be your primary focus. And I'll remind you of the story if you're just joining me live. Hey, good to see you. Is you absolutely now have to remember that your whatever you think is junk in your business, old patients, old leads, go deep into the database. Go deep into all those people that inquired, that you forgot to reach out to, that you didn't think was a good lead, that potentially wasn't a good lead, that wasn't a good customer at the time. Hey, Tabor, good to see you. Go deep into that. We are winning by doing that. I would almost say at the expense of all other marketing, go deep into anyone who's connected to you before. That's what we're doing, and I absolutely think you should be doing that right now. Keep tuned if you want to join me for a full week's training on how you should be doing that in your business. Joined by Dr. John DeMartini, Les Brown, and Brian Tracy, legends upon legends. The reason I've chosen them and had the privilege of knowing them and working with them is that they have been through multiple challenges and economic crises, and I just want to leverage that wisdom. So there'll be a link somewhere. I'm pretty sure my team will put it in the comments. There'll be a link to join me for that. Hey, Brian, good to see you. I love and appreciate you guys. I hope this is helpful. If you want to join me, check out. There's a Facebook page in the comment section too for those practice owners. I'm going to be teaching live into that every day and helping you grow. So deep into your customer list, but also start segmenting. Don't just send something to the entire list. What you want to be doing right now is gathering data. How many people have a certain customer spend above X amount? How many people have never used the service? How many people have used the service and referred? You can't have enough, but this is going to cause challenges, specifically mom and pop industries. I know that what I'm saying right now is going to be overwhelming, but stop everything and go deep into your customer list. Love and appreciate you. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining me. And there's links in the comment section how you can join me in my live course. It's free, by the way. And we've got a Facebook group for practice owners that want to launch. I'm only going to keep it open for during this time. I'm closing it after that. But if you want to learn some strategies from us, join me live. Hey, Alan, good to see you. See you guys soon.